It's 3 a.m. You're in a helium headspace. It's Friday, October 24th, 2025. Gattaca premiered on this day in 1997, directed by Andrew Niccol. It stars Jude Law, Uma Thurman, Alan Arkin, Lauren Dean, Ernest Borgnine, and Ethan Hawke, who as Vincent reflects, "They used to say that a child conceived in love has a greater chance of happiness. They don't say that anymore." It made $4.3 million its opening weekend and has since accumulated $12.5 million. Born today in 1798 in Turin, Massimo d'Azeglio was a painter, novelist, turned statesman who tied culture to politics in the service of Italian unification. His historical novel Ettore Fira Mosca revived pride and Italian courage. As Prime Minister of Sardinia, he stabilized constitutional government. And in his posthumous memoir, I miei ricordi, he argued that after territorial unification, the real work was civic, educating character, widening civil rights, and making Italians. This practical nation-building program, culture to kindle identity, law to shape citizens, runs through his life's work. In I miei ricordi, Massimo d'Azeglio wrote, "Italians wanted to make a new Italy while remaining the old Italians. To succeed, they must first reform themselves." Today, in 1861, the United States was linked by wire from coast to coast when Western Union's Overland and Pacific lines met at Salt Lake City. The new line was immediately used to send a cross-country message to President Abraham Lincoln. The link collapsed weeks-long delays into minutes, effectively ending the Pony Express and binding California more tightly to the Union in the opening year of the Civil War. California Supreme Court Chief Justice Stephen J. Field sent the first transcontinental telegram to Lincoln, pledging the state's loyalty. Brigham Young and company officials also exchanged an inaugural message that night. The technical feat was tough, thousands of poles, mountain passes, and hostile weather. But its political impact was simple. It shrank the continent and strengthened federal reach. In that first telegraph to President Lincoln, Chief Justice Stephen J. Field wrote, "Stand by the government. In this, its day of trial. In this, the first message across the continent, we express our loyalty to that union." 111 years later to the day, at the International Conference on Computer Communications in Washington, D.C., ARPANET was publicly demonstrated for the first time, proving that wide-area computer networking worked outside the lab. The two moments bookend a century of American connectivity. One linked telegraph keys from coast to coast, the other introduced packet-switched computing to the public. In the foreword to the booklet, Scenarios for Using the ARPANET at the International Conference on Computer Communication, it was written, "It is expected that the scenarios will have long-term usefulness." Today in 1946 at White Sands Missile Range, a repurposed V-2 rocket carried a 35mm motion picture camera to about 65 miles above the Earth and captured the first photograph of Earth from space. The camera fired a frame every 1.5 seconds. Then the rocket crashed and the film, protected in a steel cassette, was recovered intact, opening the door to routine Earth observation from above. Observing the celebrating scientists, Fred Rulli wrote, "They were ecstatic. They were jumping up and down like kids." Today in 1901, to celebrate her 63rd birthday, Annie Edson Taylor, a former schoolteacher, became the first person to survive a trip in a barrel over Niagara Falls, riding a custom oak and iron barrel over the Canadian Horseshoe Falls and living to tell about it. She did it for money and for fame. And she didn't go alone. Her cat Sunny accompanied her and also survived. Rescuers found her alive with minor injuries after a drop of about 158 feet, and she later warned others not to repeat the stunt. Her story is equal parts audacity and caution, a headline-making feat that brought far less fortune than she had hoped. Annie Edson Taylor explained, "For 2 years I had been constantly studying, when not occupied in teaching, what I could do to make money, to make it honestly and quickly. I did not say, like Dante, on entering the barrel, 'Who enters here leaves all hope behind,' but my courage rose." Today's poem is by Walt Whitman and is titled Passage to India, from Leaves of Grass. Singing my days, singing the great achievements of the present, singing the strong light works of engineers. Our modern wonders, the antique ponderous seven outvied. In the old world, the east, the Suez Canal, the new by its mighty railroad spanned, the seas inlaid with eloquent gentle wires. Passage to India, lo, soul, seest thou not God's purpose from the first? The earth to be spanned, connected by network, the races, neighbors, to marry and be given in marriage, the oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near, the lands to be welded together. And those are some of the things we humans have done over the years. Do good work, smile more, and please follow our work.